Hey everyone, it's Dumont Owen. It is Wednesday at noon, which means it's time to talk about LinkedIn. Hold on a second. For those of you who are live on the call, I'd love to know your names and where you're from. If you're on Facebook, you have to give Facebook permission to use your name. But please, whether you're on live now or whether you're watching this on the recording, if you have questions, just DM me or you can email me at dumont@dumontowen.com. And I'll give you all that information again at the end. Now, just before we get started, I don't know if you can see my hand here. Up there it is. My cat bit me. And before you start calling, the veterinarians and animal control, no, I wasn't hurting my cat. I was giving her subcutaneous fluids and apparently stuck her the wrong way. So I'm kind of nursing this inflamed, infected hand, and I'm on heavy antibiotics. So if I kind of drift off every once in a while, that's what's going. My mind is trying to make its way through the antibiotics. So just so you know, those of you who are watching on the recording, I will make everything that I'm offering today available to you. So don't worry, you will get all the links and everything. Okay, so today we're talking about LinkedIn profiles that sell. Oh, before we do, I need to do one more piece of housekeeping. If I look like I'm not making eye contact with you, it's because I'm not. My display just died. So I have my webcam up here and my keyboard down here. So if it looks like I'm not looking at you, I apologize. Okay, so today we're going to talk about LinkedIn profiles that sell or that can convert like a sales page even while you sleep. And that's what a good LinkedIn profile should do. I want you to think of your LinkedIn profile as a sales page or as a landing page. Your LinkedIn profile is where everyone goes to learn about you. Think about it for a minute. If you have not Googled your name recently, go do it. Because I think you're going to find that your LinkedIn profile is in the top 3 results that you get when you Google your name. And when you Google your name, to get accurate results, always enclose it in quotation marks. That'll make sure that you're getting a pure reading. And I think you're going to find that, I know you're going to find your LinkedIn profile is one of those. Your LinkedIn profile is one of the most the most prime real estate you can get for search engine optimization. And if you're not familiar with that term, search engine optimization, can't talk today either, often referred to as SEO, is how you use the right keywords and prepare your profile in the right way that you will show up higher in search results. So for instance, if someone were looking for me, they would probably be looking at words like LinkedIn, personal branding, social selling, lead generation. So I want to make sure that I know what those are. So, that's one way that you can find out about things. So your Google rank is one of the reasons that your LinkedIn profile is so important. I mean, this is the first time. Oh my gosh, what just happened here? I apologize. I turned this off and I put it on do not disturb, and it disturbed. Hold on, I'm getting rid of it over here. Okay, so back to talking about making your LinkedIn profile convert like a sales page. So that's what I want you to think of it as, your sales page. When you think about the strategies and the way that you interact with people on LinkedIn, if you comment on something in the news feed, what shows up? Your picture and your headline, right? If you invite someone to connect, where are they going to go? They're going to go to your profile. If you invite someone to an event, they're going to go to your profile. If you send them a message, they're going to go to your profile. So your profile is So important. Maybe not your Facebook profile or your Instagram profile or your, whatever profile, but your LinkedIn profile is extremely important if you're in B2B, business to business, or even if you're B2C. And a lot of people don't understand this. They think that LinkedIn is only for people in the B2B area. If you have clients who use LinkedIn, for instance, if you're a career coach and you're looking for job seekers or career transitioners, LinkedIn is exactly where you want to be, for a lot of reasons. Let's just tick a couple of them off, shall we? Or a few of them. LinkedIn, 80% of the leads that come from social media to business websites is through LinkedIn. And it's darn close with B2C, business to customer. So it's really great for that. Here's another great fact that you may not be aware of. LinkedIn users are more affluent than those on the other platforms. This means that not only can they appreciate your premium programs, they can afford them. That's what you want, right? And I can't even, 4 out of every 5 leads that come from social media come from LinkedIn. And then finally, LinkedIn converts better than any of the other platforms, and that includes Google Ads. Okay, so we're talking Google Ads and a fairly high expense. Oh, hey, Patrick, great. So we're talking about that, but we're also talking about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn will cost you nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this is why you need a powerful LinkedIn profile. So today I'm giving you kind of the overview of a LinkedIn profile. I will be coming back in the next few weeks to tell you more. So hang on here just a second and let me get this going. Okay. All right. So today what we're talking about is how to build a LinkedIn profile that sells while you sleep. And that's exactly the way you want it, right? Isn't it wonderful to think about maybe getting up in the morning and not having to worry about where your next client comes from? So let's get started. What we're going to cover today, 4 things. One is where your profile falls in the lucrative LinkedIn system, because this is only one part of what you need to be doing on LinkedIn. It's the part you need to do first. So it's the part that you need to do before you start inviting people to connect and before you start, trying to sell your products. Second, we're going to look at just some general guidelines. Then we're going to look at branded content, because the fastest way to get new clients on LinkedIn is by promoting a powerful brand. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? But it's so important. And then finally, we're going to go through a bunch of tips that are counterintuitive. They're going to seem a little weird at times, but these are actually tips that you need to know. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is where your profile falls within the lucrative LinkedIn system. And if you'll recall, the lucrative LinkedIn system has 4 stages or 4 steps. The first step is clarity. You have to be totally clear on your goals, your niche, and your brand before you do anything on LinkedIn. Okay, get totally clear on those goals. When you set your goals, you're also going to set your key performance indicators, commonly known as metrics, that will tell you whether you're reaching your goals. You have to be clear on your niche, because if you try to please everyone, you're not going to please anyone. And that's because you're not going to be talking specifically about the problems and challenges they're facing today. And then finally, you have to be totally clear on your brand, who you are, who you help, how you help them, and the results. And in your brand goes all that good stuff, like your personality characteristics, your vision, your passions, everything that makes you stand out from others. Okay, awareness. Now, this is the second stage, and this is where you do your profile. Because once you're clear on your niche and once you're clear on your brand, then you've got everything you need to build a really great client-centered profile. And by client-centered, I mean focused on them, not on you. The other parts in this stage are content marketing. Now, you're not going to be doing a lot of content marketing in this stage, but you are going to identify count them, three main themes that you talk about, and you're going to talk about them in your profile. And then finally, there's automation, and that's automation extending from everywhere, or covering everything from, how to invite people, to how to respond to messages, to how to automate your content, all kinds of good stuff in that area. The next stage is the lead generation stage. And in that stage, you get to do all the fun stuff: prospecting, finding your ideal clients, connecting. This is where you invite them to connect, and stick with me, because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to tell you exactly how to write an invitation that will absolutely get accepted. Okay. And then finally, we talk about building relationships here, because in order to really sell well on LinkedIn or any social media for that matter, you have to cover some other areas, but they are all built upon, or they are all founded upon, a solid foundation of respect. Meaning that when you connect with people and when you build relationships with people, you're going to build them based on mutual respect and trust. I know you've been slammed with sales pitches, right? I know I have. You get these. Oh, I saw your profile today, and I think we could do a lot of great business together. And if you accept that, before you can even turn around and write your thank you message, you get hit with their sales pitch. No. We do not do that. Okay. And then finally, there's sales and analysis. And this is where you have that actual sales conversation, which, by the way, is much easier now, because you've already built up that relationship built based on mutual respect and trust. So sales becomes a much easier, more natural and authentic process. And in this stage, you're also going to look at your metrics. So you're going to look at the metrics you set up with the first stage, with the goals. Now, here's something that I always recommend. Check your metrics once a month so that you can see whether those changes you made, or whether those activities you're pursuing are actually helping you in terms of building relationships on LinkedIn. So today we're concentrating on stage 2, and that is awareness in your profile. Okay. All right. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about is why most profiles don't work. And you would be surprised. Well, no, you wouldn't be. I know you've seen these profiles. You would understand this. One is they are me too, meaning that, it sounds too much like other people's profiles. I get this. When I first started out on LinkedIn, I was looking at everybody else's profiles. How do they word things? What keywords do they use? But one thing I knew was that I didn't want to copy what they had. And here's why. You want to stand out from all those people. You want to be heard above that din of other people who offer the same services you do. So you don't want a Me Too profile. You want one that's going to differentiate you from everyone else that's competing with you. Second, they're the best kept secret. And I'm going to go into this a little bit later, but you don't want to be a best kept secret. They're passive versus active, meaning nothing's going on, nothing ever changes. You aren't working on it ever. And we'll talk about that too. There's no target, meaning you don't know your niche. It's incongruent. Now, this applies in two ways. One is that it's incongruent with who you are or your brand. It's inauthentic. The second way is that it's not congruent in terms of the different sections. What you say in the about section is incongruent with what you say in your experience section. In your about section, you may be talking to a specific niche or specific target audience, but you can narrow that down a little bit more in your experience sections. So really knowing, how to make those sections all mesh together, all have the same themes, so that when people look at it, even if you have 2 or 3 different niches, let's say you have one that's, entrepreneurs who are just starting out. You have one that's for people who have made it, but they need your help with one specific place in one specific area. Or, another niche that may be people who teach about this or speakers about this. So you want it to reflect all of that, and you want it to be congruent. Okay, it's not branded. We're going to talk about this a lot. And finally, it's not optimized. And when we're talking about optimization, we're talking about keywords. Okay. A strong, powerful LinkedIn profile is characterized by 5 C's. It's client focused, meaning that you're focusing on them, not on yourself. Now, I get this. I really do. We want to tell people how great we are, right? I'm your best choice for this. But the thing is that when you land on someone's profile, what are you thinking? You're not thinking about them. You're thinking about what they can do for you, right? So so when you write a client-focused profile, that means you're going to start out by addressing and calling out the problems and challenges that they deal with on a daily basis. It's compelling, meaning that, that that your headline is so compelling, they have to read that first sentence. And then that sentence is so compelling that they have to read the next one all the way through. It's conversational. Now, this was a hard one for me because I come out of higher education. So my mind is kind of wired for academic speak, but that doesn't work on LinkedIn. You don't want to use formal language. You want to make it conversational. You want people to feel when they are on your profile that they're talking with you. Okay, they are hearing your words. It's credible, meaning that when people go through your profile, they see the evidence of your qualifications. And finally, it has a clear call to action. Now, I want to take just a second to talk about calls to action, because a lot of people don't bother with them, and that's a huge mistake, because your call to action tells people what to do next if they want to work with you. So for instance, you might have a call to action that says, subscribe to my newsletter, or get my free, whatever your free gift or free gift. It's a gift. It's not a free gift. A gift implies that it's free. Or schedule a consultation. Any of those can be used, but you must only use one. Research shows that if people are told what to do, they do it. In fact, there was a study of people cutting in the fast lane, I guess, is what you might call it, in the supermarket. They go in, they tap somebody on the shoulder and say, do you mind if I go first? I'm in a big hurry. And people would let them. But they've also found that when you give people more than one choice, they don't do either. So, it's subscribe to my newsletter, download my free gift, or not free gift, schedule a free consultation, but only put one, okay, in your about section. You can have more than one call to action, but only one per section. So you might have one in your about section. You might have a different one in your experience sections, so each one can have its own call to action. All right, so here are a few things just to bear in mind as you're doing your profile. One, we just talked about this. It's not about you, it's about them. It sounds like a conversation. It addresses their problems and challenges and spotlights your solutions. So you want your profile to first let people know that you're aware of their problems and challenges, and then provide your solutions. And you want to focus on results. If they connect with you, if they were to decide they want to work with you, what would be the results? What would happen if they did? And then finally provide that clear call to action. Okay, so let's talk about the different sections. The first thing I want you to do, the very first thing, is to fix or complete your contact information. So you're going to want to go into right here where it says your profile. Now, what you're saying is, my LinkedIn profile or linkedin.com/in/my name. That way people will know to look for, or will be able to find me. When you look in there for the first time, you're going to see that instead of your name, it has a whole bunch of gobbledygook. Get rid of the gobbledygook and put your name. And if you have a very common name, find out a way to make it unique. Maybe you're adding your middle name. Maybe you're adding your degree behind your name, but do something to make it stand out. Okay, you're also going to include your website, and you can have 3 different ones. So you might have one to your website, to your calendar, and maybe one to your blog or something like that. Or if you're having a summer sale or something like that, you can put that there. Your phone number, if you don't want people calling you, just leave it out. I'm having trouble reading this. Okay. Oh, address. Now, this is optional. And I would suggest to some of you, because I know there are women on the call, if you are concerned about people knowing your private address, don't put it. A lot of people know that we work out of our home. So if you're concerned about that, just leave it off. Your email where people can reach you, your Twitter account, and then your birthday. And you don't have to put the year, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's talk about branding for a minute. I'm going to change my glasses so that I can see better here. Oh, yes. Okay, so there are 6 characteristics of a powerful personal brand. And I'm bringing this up because your brand is so, so important. Your brand is how you're going to stand out from everyone else. So it's really, really important. So the first piece, and I'm going to have to change glasses again because I can't see my screen. Okay, the first one is it has to be unique. We define a brand as your unique promise of value. And unique means that it provides value that only you, it's only about you. It's not about anybody else in the world. 2 is that it's authentic, meaning that it's authentic to who you are. 3, it expresses a point of view. When I was a kid, and I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember this, you may be old enough to remember newspapers. There were 2 sisters who ran advice columns in 2 different newspapers, Ann Landers and Dear Abby, and people would write into them with questions about their behavior. Was I appropriate? Was this inappropriate? And these sisters were very direct. They would slam people if they thought what they were doing was inappropriate. But everybody read their columns because they expressed a point of view. Even if you hated their point of view, they had one, and people loved to hear that. Okay, 3, it tells your brand story. 4, it's compelling. People can't resist it. And 5, it fits your niche. Sorry, folks. If you see me taking my glasses on and off, it's because my display just died, so I can't see anything. Okay, so let's talk about branded content. You have several places where you can brand your LinkedIn profile. Now, usually branded content is referring to these areas here: your banner, your headshot, your name, and your headline. So let's talk about each of these. Your banner can easily be branded. And if you haven't branded your banner, here's how to do it. You just go to Canva. Canva.com, Canva.com. If you're not on there, you need to be, because this is a great place for all of your graphics and design. And on Canva, if you go there and in the search field, enter LinkedIn, One of the things that's going to pop up is LinkedIn banners. They are already pre-sized. You can change the color. You can put your logo there. You can put the brand, whatever you want. So don't have that generic icky background. Put something there that says who you are, what you do, who you help, all of that. Okay, then there's your photo. Now, I'm going to give you some advice on photos in a short period, but there's something new about LinkedIn photos that I just can't wait to share with you. Next, we have your name. Now, the one thing that I want to point out to you is that with your name, you can, first of all, you can, if you're a woman, or well, I guess if you're a guy too, if you're married, you can put your assigned name, your birth name in the middle. So my birth name was Gherkin, so I have that there. But what I want to focus on is what comes afterwards, because I see a lot of profiles, particularly for coaches, that have all these acronyms following them: CCMC, EDLDC, whatever it is. There's a string of like 10 acronyms after their name. Well, nobody knows what those acronyms mean. So you're not helping yourself at all. In fact, you're just confusing the situation. So you can put academic credentials behind. LinkedIn doesn't bother you with that, but don't put any more than that. Okay, and then you have your headline. Now, we're going to be talking about a specific headline formula in a few minutes, so I'm going to skip over this pretty quickly. But just know that your headline is where you're going to feature your brand. Okay, so here is the LinkedIn headline formula. I told you I was going to get to it. Now, what this is it's your title plus keywords, the words that people are going to use to search for you, plus sizzle. And by sizzle, I mean your personal brand statement. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. This is one of mine. Master personal and digital brand strategist, LinkedIn coach and trainer, helping coaches and consultants land lucrative leads without the sleaze. That's one of my old ones. But I want to point out a few things here. Title. I am very specific about my title. Why? Because your title has to tell people what you do. I see all of these profiles where people identify themselves as founder or CEO. Founder of what? CEO of what? It doesn't tell you anything. You want to be very specific. People don't go on LinkedIn looking for chief inspirators, for instance. And I've seen that one, chief inspirator. They might look for a copywriter. They might look for an editor. They might look for a creative agency. But I don't think anybody goes on LinkedIn looking for a chief inspirator. So you want to make it something that people will understand. In the second one, lawyer and certified life coach to lawyers who are over the overwhelm and want to live lives with less stress and far more fulfillment. So in this one, you have very specific job titles also. Now let's go on to the next part, keywords. Now, keywords are the terms that people are going to enter into the LinkedIn sales field or search field to look for you. So you want to use words that are going to attract them. Now, on LinkedIn right now, personal brand and digital brand and strategist are all keywords that are used a lot right now. And it's our coaches and trainers. Consultants is a keyword. So all of those are keywords that people might look for. Lawyer okay, so in this one, lawyer is a keyword, and that's the only one that she has right there. But the other thing that I wanted to show, or coach is one too. The other thing I wanted to show you though was the sizzle. This is your brand statement. So you'll notice in mine, I tell you who I help and what happens when I help them, okay? And in this one, the same thing, helping lawyers, but not just any lawyers who are overwhelmed and overstressed. And this tells them exactly what's going to happen as a result of working with them. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples. Randy Bussin is an executive career coach. She's also a master personal brand strategist, and I really like what she's done with her banner, her photo, and her headline, her name and her headline. Her banner she made up using photos of her and doing different things that she does with her work, meeting with a small group, on the phone with the client, presenting something, presenting a workshop. These are all great. I don't normally suggest that you use photos in your banners, especially a headshot of you, because you've got one right here. But you can combine shots of you in other aspects doing those. Okay, her photo is perfect. She's looking directly into the camera. She's making eye contact. Her hair is fashionably styled. Her makeup is appropriate. Her jewelry is minimal, and she's wearing a blouse that really stands out and is very professional looking. In her headline, all she has said is coach and MBA, not a string of acronyms, you notice. And then she has trusted advisor coach. Okay, advisor and coach are both keywords for rising stars, execs, entrepreneurs. Capitalize on strengths, illuminate your personal brand, return on investment, stand out, and open doors. Well, that's pretty clear, isn't it? We know what she does. She's a coach. She works with rising stars and executives and entrepreneurs who really want to capitalize on their strengths and attract more people to their brand. Okay, here's another great example. Deb Dibb. Now, Deb is also a personal brand strategist, and she is probably the most energetic, enthusiastic person you're ever going to meet. And her banner really reflects that, because as a brand strategist, we know that different brands use different brand colors. So that's what she's messaging there. Her photo, looking directly into the camera, big smile, looks very approachable. Her name is just, she only has one thing behind it, master personal brand strategist. But look at her headline. This is what I really want you to notice. Brand storyteller, editor, polisher, writing strategy coach. I help busy, gutsy career pros get unstuck, fast, fun, done. Now, what makes this great? Well, first of all, she's very, very specific about what she does. And she uses keywords to do it. Brand storyteller is really a hot keyword on LinkedIn right now. Editor, writing strategy coach. And then look at her sizzle. I help busy, gutsy career pros get unstuck, fast, fun, done. Because what she does is she helps career coaches and counselors who have written copy polish it up so that it really looks great. So great example of a headline here. All right. And then finally, I wanted to talk to you just a bit about creator mode, because if I go back here right now, you notice there aren't any hashtags here or anything like that. It doesn't show you how many followers I have. It'll show you how many connections I have, but it won't show you followers. Now, when you get into creator mode, it does a number of things, including right here, where it shows you at that time, I had 3,827 followers and over 500 connections. So when I add creator mode, though, I want to show you something else right here. And it's very, very faint on this, but talks about, and it has 5 hashtags because I'm in creator mode. Talks about LinkedIn, social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and personal branding. So that tells you my topics. This is all about creator mode. So I want you to understand that there's a difference. What I would suggest to you is that you start out with a standard profile. And then when you have over 500 connections, because that's what you need to concentrate on first, get those connections. Then when you have those, Then you might want to switch to creator mode, because creator mode really changes your profile. It does some really wonderful things. For one thing, it brings your featured section all the way up to the top. Very cool. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that. And in a few weeks, I'm going to have a live stream about creator mode, just about that. Okay, so branded content. Now, this is talking about your about section, which used to be called the summary, which is actually more appropriate because that's what it is. But here are some suggestions that I have. Know your why. Know why you do this, because that's what people are looking for. I use this as an example a lot. If you're a weight loss coach, and in your about section, it says something like, now, weight has never been a problem for me. However, I've known people who had weight problems, and therefore I like to help. Not real convincing. I want a weight loss coach who has dealt with losing weight. I'm not going to go to someone who hasn't done it before. So know your why. My story is that when I came out of higher ed, I didn't know anything about marketing. I just knew I wanted my own business. So I started my business, and I didn't know how to market it. So I had very few clients. And after a year, I'm not even sure it was a whole year, I closed my doors and said, okay, I need to go learn about marketing and branding. So that's what I did. Include your personal brand statement, that who you are, who you help, and how you help them. Identify keywords. Tell your story, your brand story. And like I said, mine was that I lost my business and had to start over. Be crystal clear about your niche. You cannot appeal to one niche, to more than one niche at a time. Get that niche nailed. I call it nail your niche. Nail your niche, get that one going 100%, and then go on to the next one. Focus on their pain points. What's keeping them up at night? Consider including snippets of recommendations. I love this, and I haven't seen anybody else suggesting it, so listen up. When someone lands on your profile, they have to start at the top and they have to scroll all the way to the bottom to see your recommendations. Now, imagine if you took a sentence or just, one or two lines from one of your very best recommendations or testimonials from your webpage, and you put those there, in your about section. You're talking to them about how you can help them with their problems. And then boom, there's a testimonial that says, that you helped them with that exact problem and how great their results were. You're establishing credibility before they even get through the about section. Really important. And you can also include other snippets of recommendations in your other sections. Cool, huh? Okay, present your solutions. And I'm going to be talking about this, and then tell them what to do next. That's your call to action. So here are the things that you're going to have in your headline. Now, I'm going to show you two different formats for your about section. This one's the headline format. So I want you to imagine, and you have probably seen some profiles like this, where down the left-hand side, there are bold, sections in bold, and then it has text beside it. So who I help is over here in bold, and then next to it is, for instance, if it were me, I could have next to it coaches, consultants, and other service providers. What I do or what others say, Dumont's amazing. Put what you have there. Where you may have seen me, and you could put all your media contacts there. Why I do it. This is your why story. This is what people really want to do. This is the convincer. Okay. How I help, or when I do it, do you have specific times of the year that you offer specific programs? How I help or serve. And then finally, the call to action. All right. So your about section. Now, this is the headline formula. So this is kind of what it looks like. What I do in big, bold letters, and then you're going to rephrase your brand statement. So what I do could be, I help coaches, consultants, and other service providers who really need to build a pipeline of qualified leads to build sustainable business success. I could have something like that. And then the next one is how I do it. I leverage or use my skills or experience to create result. So I could say, I use my knowledge of branding and LinkedIn to help coaches and consultants get clients fast using LinkedIn. Result. And the results could be they get more clients, more profile views, more leads, more inquiries. There could be all kinds of things that would be a result of that. Okay, and then how I'm or we're different. That's where you're going to put your brand differentiator. That's why your brand is so important, because this is what makes you stand out from your competition. You've heard me say this again, but I cannot say it enough. People do not buy from you because you're the best. Okay, there are over 900 million people on LinkedIn. There's a pretty good chance that someone who's better of you just might be out there someplace, or at least is good for you. So you want to tell them how you're different. For instance, with me, people who go with me know that I have some people say I have a weird sense of humor. Someone once said to me that I have a highly evolved sense of humor. I'm going to go with that one. But people who work with me know that I can be fairly irreverent, that I like to joke and laugh and have a good time while we're working together. So people who choose to work with me usually know about me, why I do it. This is your brand story. This is, what you're going to tell them. Now, here's the thing I want you to keep in mind. The hero in your brand story is not you. It's the client. Okay. Your hero story is going to paint the picture of how you got here, your big why. So you already heard mine. Failed miserably, had to close the doors, went back and learned about marketing and branding. And this time I came out, a second time because I had an accident and couldn't work for a year. So I came back again. I've started 3 different businesses, all based on this, but 2 of them are still out there. And one is Dumont Digital Marketing. The other is Radically Rewarding Careers. I don't coach people for their careers anymore, but I keep it there because some other people, I can refer people to some of the people that I know are really good. So demonstrate to them how they're going to benefit, how you overcame the problem and that you created a solution and that you can now give them that solution so they can enjoy the same success that you are. Okay. What my clients say, this is where you can put that snippet from your testimonials. And then your next step, this is your call to action. And once again, I want to remind you, only one call to action. Okay. The about section in the storytelling format. Now, when you're using the story format, you want to start out by addressing, your niche, their problems, their challenges, and that you're going to help them with that. So I really like this particular format, but let me tell you, it is a little bit more difficult initially to set up. So what I usually suggest to people is that you go through, wait a minute, I'm going the wrong direction. Hold on. That you go through, come on, the headline section first, because what that does is when you answer these questions, these are the things that people are going to want to know. So this format, the headline format, is easier to do. And even if you're not using it, I suggest that you go through and complete this, because this is going to help you a lot. Okay, and then your about section and all of that. Okay, in the story format, you're going to start off with their challenges. So it might start off with a question. Are you a member of blank who needs to do blank? I get that and I can help with that. So if you're talking to your niche, so I could say, are you a coach, consultant, or other kind of service provider who needs to get clients fast in order to build sustainable business success? I get that. I lost my first business, and here's how I came back. So you talk about that. Then you talk about how you solve that problems. When I do it, I say my clients usually have one of three challenges, and I list those three challenges. They don't have enough clients and they need to build a sustainable business. They know their clients are on LinkedIn, but they can't find them. And then the third one might be they know they need a personal brand, that a brand tells their story, and they need to fulfill this. So, I always talk about, the three challenges. Then you want to go with, hey, I've been there. This happened to me. I know exactly what you're talking about and exactly how I overcame it. So that's where your brand story goes. Not a long and involved story. I'm talking about a paragraph, right? 3 to 4 sentences at most. And then after you tell them how you got over it and how you got the results that they're seeking, then you tell them how you can do the same thing for them. My talent, my gift, my genius is helping you achieve. So I could say my genius is helping coaches and consultants get all the clients they need in record time by promoting a powerful personal brand. As a result, they have more clients, more revenue, and more time to spend with the lifestyle that they aspire to. And then, want to know more? Book a call with me, something like that. Okay. Next, let's look at the featured section. Now, remember, I said that when you do creator mode, when you turn on creator mode, that's going to bring your featured section up to the top. And that's very cool because there you can feature the exact things you want them to know. Here I have my lucrative LinkedIn strategies. This is something that people can download. This is my newsletter that's on LinkedIn. You can actually opt into it. I have my YouTube channel where you can find all of my videos. And then finally, I have my free LinkedIn profile checklist, which I'm going to give to you at the end of this. So I can put the things that I really want. Now, you can put as many things in the featured section as you want, but I'm going to strongly suggest that you limit it to 3 to 5. People don't want to spend all day looking through your section, and they're probably just going to focus on the first 3 unless they want to learn more about you. Okay, so experience sections. Now, the experience section is where you're talking about your business. Now, one thing I want to point out to you is that the experience sections are not the same as a resume, okay? LinkedIn is not a resume. It works differently. So, first of all, you can use your experience sections to highlight different services or niches. So, for instance, on my profile, you're going to see Dumont Digital Marketing and Radically Rewarding Careers as both being alive, as both being companies that are active on LinkedIn that people can click on and they'll go to the page, and they both have the same exact time period. So it says Dumont, I think it still says our old one, but Dumont and Associates, and it talks about my work that I do in branding and LinkedIn. And then in that same time period, it says Radically Rewarding Careers and talks about career coaching. So you can literally have as many experience sections as you want and target them to different niches and different services and different programs. You want to optimize your headlines with keywords in your brand statement, just like you did when we were talking about your headline for your LinkedIn profile. You're going to follow that same format. Brand your experience section. People waste this. They waste it, and this is a great place for more keywords and to tell people exactly what you do. Don't waste your experience sections. They're so good. You can emphasize the results you produce by social proof, your snippets, remember, from your testimonials, and then you're going to include a call to action. And remember, that does not have to be the same call to action you used in your About section. Okay, they have all this other information that you can fill in: education, certifications and licensures, accomplishments, skills and endorsements, recommendations, and interests. They are all important. And I'm going to suggest to you strongly that you fill this out completely, because LinkedIn loves a complete profile. They used to tell you when you had a complete profile, they would give you this little like thermometer almost that would tell you that you had you were 25% complete with your profile, 50, 75, and then came all-star. And all-star is what you're searching for, because that means you have filled your profile, every single section, completely. And why is this so important? Well, for one, it's more opportunities to use keywords. Two, it's more opportunity to talk about your great services. Three, you're giving other people information that they can comment on. If I go to your profile and I look down at your interests and it says you're following, well, let's reach back into history. You're following Genghis Khan, if any of you are familiar with that name, or you're following Mickey Mouse, right? Maybe you're a Disney fan. Whatever your interests say, that gives people something they can mention when they reach out to you. It tells them something about who you are and what you do. So that's very, very important. Okay. Tips. Now I'm going to go through these fairly quickly because I've already covered them, but they will also be in what I send you. And you will also, I'm going to send you the video, the slide deck, and the links that I'm going to be talking about. So you'll get it all. Tips: know your niche. You know you have to do that. Use a conversational tone. Don't forget those keywords. Use testimonial snippets. Brand your headlines, your about section, and your experience section. Up your Google juice. By this, I mean get higher rankings on Google, because Google and LinkedIn love images, okay? They love images. And there's only one thing they love more than images: videos. They love moving images. So give them to them. It's going to help you rank higher. Avoid keyword stuffing. Now, this is when you take the keywords and you stuff them everywhere, right? And all that does is make your writing feel really awkward and really choppy. So you want your keywords, but you want them to occur naturally. And by filling out all of your sections, you have more places for that to happen. And the one thing you don't want to do that we used to advise is you don't want to put a list of keywords. You know, you used to be able to say specialties include, and I had things like LinkedIn, personal branding, digital branding, social selling, lead generation. You know what? You can't do that anymore and get any mileage out of it, because now Google looks at context, where those keywords occur naturally. So putting that list in there just isn't going to work anymore. Optimize your profile with multimedia. And then finally, you know, you might want to include your appointment calendar as one of your links. Okay. And finally, here are a couple of important links for you. And I'm also going to put this link for the checklist in the chat, because, you know, that way you can get started easily. Now, what I want to tell you about the checklist is go ahead and opt in. Don't opt out right away. I know you just want the checklist and you want to opt out, but over the next 10 days, you are going to get additional resources that go with that checklist. You're going to get videos that show you how to use it. You're going to get an opportunity to take my lucrative LinkedIn, my lucrative LinkedIn profile mini course for free. Okay, so be sure that you opt in on that checklist. Okay, come on. Okay, let's turn present off. Wait, it's not letting me do it. Okay, present. There we go. No. There we go. Hey, folks, I'm back. Oh, thank you. And Radavi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but I don't know if I am. So, do me a favor and shoot me something, that tells me exactly how to pronounce your name because of course I know your name. Radavi, yes, we talked recently. Oh, I hope you had good luck with your book, and drop me a line, tell me how you're going because this is just so cool. I love seeing you again. Thank you for coming. So listen, everyone, let me real quick drop in the chat this link because this is going to take you to the profile checklist. And when you log in on that, when you opt into the checklist, be sure you don't opt out. Wait a week to 10 days, okay? Just to make sure that you get all the stuff that goes with it. So listen, thank you so. Oh, look at all these great people. Oh, okay. So that was me dropping that in. Okay, I was really excited. I thought, never mind. Never mind what I thought. It's not important. Listen, guys, thank you so much for being here today. You know, I always love talking with you. And next week, I have a really special treat. I am going to have a guest, Janelle Anderson, who is going to talk to you all about how to narrow your niche and find that niche that you will be really passionate about working with. Not that's just going to be lucrative, but something that you are going to really enjoy. So don't miss it. We'll be sending out the invitation shortly. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. So this is Dumont Owen saying ta-ta for now.